Close your eyes for a second and try to remember the last big decision you made. That job you accepted, that relationship you started, or even that sudden thought that changed your day. Do you really believe you were the author of that choice? That in the vast ocean of your mind, that what was born from a pure spark of freedom? The architect loves your pride. He feeds on your belief that you are in control. Because the most absolute form of slavery is not the one where you see the chains. It is the one where you walk on an invisible track thinking you are exploring an open field. We have been inserted into a mechanism called the algorithm of destiny. It doesn't need to force you into anything. It doesn't need whips or walls. It only needs to tilt the terrain of your reality millimeter by millimeter, until you slide exactly into the place where the system needs you to be. You are not living a life. You are executing a script that was written before you even learned how to speak. The system knows you with an intimacy that borders on the sacred and the profane. It knows the fears you've never confessed to anyone. It has mapped your longing, your hunger to be seen, and your dread of being forgotten. To the algorithm, you are not an evolving soul. You are a set of variables that need to be kept in balance. If the architect knows what makes you feel anger, he will deliver the conflict. If he knows what keeps you distracted, he will deliver the entertainment. Every infinite scroll, every Google search, every message you send. These are sensors that you yourself feed so that your own prison can be updated in real time. The system creates a bubble of mirrors around you, where everything you see, hear, and consume only confirms what you already are. It prevents you from seeing the exit because it keeps you too busy looking at the reflection it projected itself. You are in a labyrinth where the walls move according to your desire. Free will in the matrix is like a menu at a banquet of shadows. You can choose the dish, but you were never the one who defined the ingredients. And that bitter taste you feel at the end of the day? That's your soul realizing it's being fed with illusions. What we call destiny is nothing more than the repetition of a code you didn't have the courage to delete. Why do you think you always end up in the same cycles? Why do you attract the same kind of pain, the same scarcity, the same feeling of insufficiency? That isn't bad luck. It's not the universe conspiring against you. It is the algorithm executing its security routine. The system needs you to be predictable. It is terrified of the chaos an awakened human being can cause. If you start to change, if you start to act outside the pattern, you become a glitch, a processing error that threatens the stability of the simulation. The architect doesn't want you to evolve. He wants you to merely circulate. He wants your tomorrow self to be just a more tired version of your today self. But feel it now. Feel that pressure in your chest. This discomfort is not an error. It is your essence screaming that the map is fake. It is your original hardware realizing that the track has ended and that, from here on, you will have to learn to fly or you will continue to fall in the direction they chose for you. The fact that you've made it this far, ignoring the noise outside, is already a sign of a processing error in the system. You are becoming unpredictable. If you refuse to be just a tired version of what they planned for you, leave a like. In the Matrix code, this is your awakening signal. Subscribe to ensure your signal is never silenced again. Take a deep breath. Because we are going to look at the place where the algorithm seeks the coordinates for your future. And the answer is going to hurt. The system isn't looking at the stars to predict your tomorrow. It doesn't need crystal balls. It needs real data. And the deepest data you possess isn't in your browser or your purchases. It is hidden in your own biography. How does the algorithm manage to be so precise? How does it know exactly which button to press to keep you stagnant? The answer hurts, but it is the key to your cell. The system doesn't read your future, it reads your scars. The architect has mapped every rejection you suffered in childhood, every betrayal that shattered your heart, and every failure that convinced you that you weren't good enough. To the algorithm, these are not just memories, they are anchor points. Whenever you try to fly, whenever you try to break the pattern and be someone the system didn't foresee, the algorithm pulls the thread of that old pain. It hands you a fear that feels like yours, but was injected by the simulation to ensure you return to the center of the labyrinth. Your destiny is being written with the ink of your unresolved traumas. As long as you don't heal what happened back then, you will continue reacting to the architect's stimuli like a Pavlovian reflex. You think you are acting out of precaution, but you are acting out of programming. The system feeds on your inability to forgive yourself, because a human being living in guilt is a human being who never dares to challenge the master. But the algorithm of destiny doesn't just use pain, it uses your fragmentation. Have you noticed how hard it is to hold a deep thought for more than 10 seconds? How your mind jumps from one tab to another, from a short video to a notification, as if you were in a constant short circuit. This is intentional. A fragmented mind is a mind impossible to focus. And without focus there is no intention. And without intention, you are just cosmic dust being blown by the wind of the algorithm. The system fragments your attention so that you can never gather enough energy for a quantum leap of consciousness. It keeps you in a state of perpetual superficiality. You consume 1,000 pieces of information and learn nothing. You know 1,000 people and connect with no one. You have 1,000 desires and fulfill none. The architect knows that if he can keep you busy with the noise, you will never have the silence necessary to hear the signal of your soul. Your destiny is being fragmented into millions of likes and shares, while your true life remains untouched, kept in a drawer the system convinced you never to open. We live in a feedback loop. The system observes you, learns what binds you, and then gives you more of the same. It is the feed of your life. If you focus on scarcity, the algorithm adjusts reality to show you more reasons for lack. If you focus on victimization, it delivers custom-made villains. It is an engineering of deformed mirrors. What we call reality is, in fact, the reflection of our current frequency processed by the algorithm of destiny. The architect doesn't create your life, he merely amplifies what you are emitting. But he does it so quickly and subtly that you believe the world outside is just like that. You believe you were born to suffer, or that life is hard. These are not universal truths. They are the default settings of your profile in the matrix. The system wants you to accept its diagnosis as if it were your final destiny. But the truth it tries to hide at all costs is that the algorithm only has power over you as long as you are asleep at the wheel of your own mind. If the algorithm of destiny is fed by your predictability, your liberation is born from your spontaneity. The architect built a labyrinth based on logic, but he cannot process a human being who acts with the power of an awakened soul. The moment you decide to forgive those who hurt you, not for them but to clear your own code, you remove an anchor that the algorithm used to bind you to the past. The moment you choose deep silence over cheap distraction, you cut the system's tracking signal. The greatest glitch you can cause in the matrix is to be inexplicable. It is to act with a love the system didn't foresee, with a courage your history doesn't authorize, and with a discipline your comfort zone doesn't know. The system expects you to feel fear in the face of the unknown. When you smile and move forward, the code collapses. The track ends there. From that millisecond on, the architect loses control over your steps. You stop being a statistical variable and become a force of nature. You are no longer a programmed destiny. You become the administrator of the simulation yourself. Understand this. The system can only predict who you are if you continue being who they said you should be. The algorithm studies your old version to dictate your future self. But when you access your original essence, you enter a state of flow that no machine can map. You become the error they cannot correct because you stopped fighting the system and started creating your own. Break the pattern today. Do something your old self would never do. Change your routine, change your circle, change the way you talk to the mirror. Challenge the statistics the system created for your life. Destiny is not a straight line written in stone by a cruel god or a giant computer. It is an open code waiting for you to take the keyboard and rewrite the laws of your own existence. The Matrix tries to convince you that you are small, but it spends billions every day just to ensure you don't realize how vast you truly are. If they need that much effort to keep you asleep, imagine the damage you will do once you are fully awake. Listen closely. This video is not just content, it is a rescue signal. The algorithm tried to pull you away from here several times in the last few minutes, but you stayed. This proves that your will is already stronger than their code. If you feel that your old script is over and that today begins your first day as an unpredictable being, leave your like as a seal of authority. Subscribe to Wake if you refuse to be just a battery in the architect's farm. And now, our command of insurrection. Go to the comments and write, "I am the author." By doing this, you are declaring that the keyboard is now in your hands. Let the system know it has lost the trail of another consciousness. Do not let them predict your tomorrow. Do not accept the simulation's diagnosis of who you are or what you can achieve. The architect has the map, but you have the territory. He has the code, but you have the life. Look beyond the mirror. Look beyond the algorithm. Your real life is not in the data. It is in the space between thoughts, in the courage to make mistakes, and in the beauty of being unique. The track is gone. The horizon is yours. From now on, every step you take is a new world you create. Welcome to your new route. Welcome to your freedom. Welcome to Wake. I am not an algorithm.